And I'd like to welcome you all to our 1:30 p.m. Tuesday session, where we'll be hearing from the Leadership Council for Healthy Communities on getting the most bang for your buck, presented by Sue. I'm going to read our disclaimer before we get started. The WildTech DC Senior iPad program, its owners and presenters offer technical assistance, virtual health, well-being information designed for educational purposes only. You should not rely on the information in any applications or topics made by WildTech, including but not limited to mobile and device applications, and any social media pages maintained by WildTech, its owners, or presenters as a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, treatment, or legal advice. Thanks so much for letting me read the disclaimer. If you cannot see me, hear me, or see the screen or Sue's screen, etc., please let us know in the chat, and we would appreciate that. As always, I recommend that you have some notes next to you so you can report some information down and review it for later. Please utilize the screenshot feature as well. And let's just make sure our TVs and cell phones are silenced to give ourselves the most immersive experience. Other than that, Sue, again, if you could introduce yourself and your topic for today, we'd appreciate it. But once again, thank you so much for coming on. I know we'll learn a lot today.
Sure. Good afternoon, everyone. It's so nice to be here with all of you. For those of you who are new, my name is Suniti Selvaraj. You can call me Sue. I'm a registered dietitian and community nutritionist. And one thing I really like is to go around teaching people, just little tips to make their lives a little healthier. So I'm so happy to be with this group. I always find your group to be very engaging, asking me like such good questions, intelligent questions, and I'm always happy to answer them. Now, today's session is actually a follow-up of the last session that we had. Can anyone unmute yourselves and tell me what the previous session, or at least what my previous session was about?
Oh, please raise your hand, you all, if you would like to share. Okay, thank you, Anne. That was so fast. What did Sue share with us last time we met with her?
Well, we learned about reading the contents and the serving sizes and the amount of sodium and calories and on the back of cans and bags. And my doctor told me to give you a compliment.
Oh, wow, very good. Thank you.
She said that was an excellent, and I promised to share with her the video when it's online.
Okay. Thank you.
She
I'm
said
glad that you learned from it and that you even shared it with your doctor.
my heart doctor. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank
And
you.
that was a very, very, very good session.
Thank you.
You so much.
I'm so happy that it helped you.
Okay.
Now I have one more follow-up question.
Uh-huh.
How many of you actually went and read food labels? Or can someone tell me the name of the rule that we learned about last class? A simple rule, it had numbers. What was that rule? Does anybody want to answer that?
Okay,
Brenda.
thank you, Brenda. So fast. Appreciate it.
Yeah, it was the 520 rule.
Very good. Now, Brenda, would you like to explain to us what the 5 and 20 rule is? Am I putting you on the spot? If I am, you don't have to. But if you want to, you could.
I think the 5 was as far as sodium, less
Okay.
than 5% for sodium.
Very good.
And 20% for fat.
Healthy fat. Healthy fat.
Healthy fat.
Yes.
Okay.
Very good. You kind of summarized it. Very good. So to put it very simply, just like that was Brenda, right? Who just
Yes.
spoke? Okay. Like Brenda said, the 5 and 20 rule simply states that anything that's 5 and below is a low source, anything 20 and above is a high source. So if you want to eat more of something, like maybe the healthy fats, or maybe calcium, vitamin D, fiber, you go for 20 and above. And the things that you want to get less of in your diet, definitely sodium, you want to
Right.
go for 5 and below. And I'm so happy that you explained it. And I hope that you will carry this rule and talk to others about it too. Now, another question. This seems like an exam, right? I'm giving you too many questions. Okay, the last question is actually like for everyone. How many of you actually used this rule, and how many of you consciously went around reading food labels after the session last week? For this, many of you can raise your hands. The more the merrier, in the sense we'll know more people actually did that. So I just wanted to kind of get a gauge a feeling for how many people actually use this information in the last couple of days.
Yeah. Please
Oh,
raise
good. I see
you
4
all.
hands, 5 hands. Very good.
Let's see
Ah,
some hands. And you use the 520 rule, the food label rule. Did you tell it to your friends, to your family? Anyone? Did you share any information we learned? I like the learning about the hydrolyzed, anything that says hydrolyzed on the label. So that was, just reinforced my chemistry background. So I really appreciate that as well.
welcome. So good. You kind of kept a watch out for that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Good. And it makes a difference, right? When you start noticing all those little things that you previously maybe didn't notice, but then you start sitting up and paying notice to those sneaky little terms there, the trans fat and the high fructose corn syrup or the hydrolyzed protein, correct?
Oh yeah, it just makes you more conscious of what you're putting in your
You're
body.
putting into your system. And it's good for us to be informed because then if we find that foods aren't represented the way they should be, you could always advocate against those, and you could we could make a difference by making sure that they change those things on the label, or at least what we could do is we could avoid them ourselves and tell our family members too that these are things you want to avoid, etc. Okay, now my next presentation is actually a follow-up because today we're going to learn about how to get the most bang for your buck. Oh, you were having too much fun the entire time since your last session and you didn't even from Rosemary. I'm just reading the message up there because it popped up. That's fine, Rosemary. After, you still have time next week, the following week, check out labels. And I'm glad that you had so much fun on the weekend. Okay. So that's what we want people to do, to live your life, live it meaningfully, relax, do the things that speak to you, even if it's just taking a restful day at home or going out, being alive itself is a gift. I often tell people that having breath in you, being alive, being able to sit up and actually interact with others via Zoom, sitting in your table, all that is a gift. Some things that we shouldn't take for granted because a lot of people don't have that. Okay. Okay. Now, the session that I'm going to teach is how do you go in a grocery store and make sure that you're getting the most bang for your buck? So I'm going to share some interesting tips with you. And I have also, I hope that you will share tips as well as to what you do to make sure that your dollar stretches. If you've noticed, after the pandemic, everything's gone up. It's like even things like milk, eggs, fruit, vegetable, food in general, they say has gone up like 20%, 20 to 30%. But our incomes haven't gone up that much. You're still probably getting the same social security. You're still getting the same, amount of money from the government, right? So we have to be a little creative here, and we got to make sure that what we buy in the store, we are using it wisely, getting the most value for it. And wherever you can get like free produce and free vegetables, go for it, because that means that all the more money you have to spend on other essentials when you get things for free. Like Martha's Table is one good resource where you could go up to twice a month and shop for free in their indoor market, and they have all fresh produce there, and it's totally free if you get the Martha's Table white card. So things like that, when you get those, just do that, and let it uh, save your money for those things in the grocery store that you really need to get. Now I'm going to hit share screen, and I want to see if okay, I want you to tell me if you can see the slideshow.
Oh, yeah. Sue just hit slideshow to make it full screen. Yep, you're good to go.
Right? You saw something which said making a list, checking it twice. Okay, let me just see if it's the top part of the presentation or if it skipped a slide or two.
Yep. No, that's the
Okay.
first one, Sue.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It should say like the first slide should be okay. This is good too because yep, let's go with this. Okay. Making a list and checking it twice. So that's not just for Christmas, right? You find when you make a list, it keeps you focused and then you don't forget things. Even I make a list. I use my phone. So here I kind of like make a little list of what I need. I have to sometimes shop at different stores. I have to shop at the Indian store because certain things I get only there. And then there's the regular grocery. So I make two lists on things, and it's more efficient that way because then I don't have to go to the grocery store, hopefully more than once a week. Because the worst thing in the world is going shopping, go back, right? So making a list really helps, whether it's on your phone, whether it's on a sheet of paper. Keeping a running list on your refrigerator is not a bad idea. You can keep adding to that everything that gets over, and then you can shop. And if you have a list, it makes it easier to do online shopping too. Maybe somebody's shopping and going to bring it into you. So those things make it easier, okay? So this making a list keeps you focused and helps you avoid impulse buys. Although sometimes impulse buys are good. I'll tell you when. Like, for example, you go into the store, right? And you see like things on sale. That's an impulse buy. But it's not a bad idea to make use of that, to make use of that impulse buy, freeze it and use it at another time because sales, I'm a firm believer in like taking advantage of sales. Okay, we'll get into that later. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into this session called smart shopping. Okay, now one important thing they say is to kind of explore the store layouts. How many of you do that? Now, if you're going to a place where you go kind of regularly, that's something you probably do, right? In that store. I go to Aldi's a lot. Okay, I know that they have produce on this left aisle. And then they have all their dairy and meats there. And they have their frozen milk and frozen foods on the right. And in between, they have all their canned. Now, that's generally the layout for most grocery stores. That's why they say shop the aisles, because when you go along the perimeter of the grocery store, that's where the fresh stuff is. But sometimes you need other things. You need condiments, you need spices. So kind of knowing the layout of your grocery store will help you, because it helps you find things you need, helps you avoid unnecessary wandering, and never be shy to ask. Say you go into a new grocery store. That's why they have those people there to help you. So if you don't want to spend time searching for the chili mix, just ask a person who's in that uniform, or whom belongs to the store, and say, hey, can you tell me where this is? Don't feel shy to ask. It's their job, and they'll give you such good descriptions and say, okay, aisle 4 in the middle or something, and makes it so much easier. So first, kind of know the layout, and don't be ashamed to ask people. Don't feel shy to ask, because that helps you to get what you need and avoids unnecessary wandering. Shop the aisles. This refers to the strategy of navigating the main aisles of a grocery store, where staple foods and essential items are located, to make healthier and more efficient shopping choices. So usually you'll find produce, dairy and meats, and frozen foods, all of those on the aisles. And that's why they call them. Those are usually healthier options because they don't have preservatives in them. Embrace the power of coupons. How many of you like to use coupons? I mean, you can kind of like, I'm just going to ask you. I think one person raised their hand. So coupons are not a bad thing. I use coupons too. You can either clip them, or now they have them online, but sometimes they can give you quite a huge saving. Now, if there are some shows on TV called extreme couponing and everything, where they'll show this person at the grocery store and the coupons will keep coming and coming, and in the end their whole cart comes out to like cents. And I'm like, okay, that's a bit much for me. I don't think I could spend so much time finding so much coupons, or even be so smart to do that. But hey, if I have one coupon, I use it. Like my CVS, it just comes straight to my phone. I know I get a $10 every month just for signing up for the app. So hey, that I know, I'll use it. And other times too, I try to put the store app on my phone because they have additional coupons. Like there's a store called Lidl's, which I like a lot now. It's also close to work, so sometimes after work I can just shop and go home. Aldi's is good too, and a lot of them have online coupons, which makes it easy. So you don't have to clip it, okay? And some of them have, you just have to put in your phone number and you get the coupon rate. That's easy, right? For those Safeway, Giant, all you have to do is put in your phone number. And then all of those things which were on sale will just come, it'll just add up. And at the end, you'll be like, hey, I saved 30 bucks off this bill. And I didn't even have to hand in a coupon. So there are several ways that you can make use of these coupons. First is generally by just signing up for that store. If you don't have a Giant card or you don't have a Safeway card, it's great to, one second. It's really good to if you don't have a Giant or a Safeway card, it's good to go ahead and to get one of those because they are called loyalty programs. And when you have those, people like to give you the benefits attached to those stores. Okay. Now take advantage of sales. Sales again are very important. Okay. For sales, you have to check out the unit price per ounce. That's how you check it out. Like for example, supposing you see steak, okay, and it says that it's on sale, and then it says $12 per ounce. That's quite a lot, right? But you might see something which says $6.99 per ounce. So which one is cheaper? Tell me. Which one is cheaper?
Yep. Any hands? Okay. Mr. Leon, what do you say?
I'm going to say the one that's $6 per ounce.
Yes, but maybe the other one was a better cut of meat. So you have to look at that. But looking at the ounce tells you whether that item is really cheaper or not. Okay, just the word sale doesn't mean that it's on sale. You still have to look at how much it is per ounce. So supposing it's ground chicken and it says $1.19 per ounce on sale. But maybe the regular one was 99 cents an ounce. That's cheaper, right? So just because it says the word sale doesn't mean anything. Take advantage of sales, yes, but always check out the unit price per ounce because that's the exact way that you know whether that item is cheaper or not. You can also do this on Amazon. If anybody shops on Amazon, maybe you're shopping for teas. When you do that, just look at the price per ounce and that'll tell you whether that item is really as nicely priced as it is. Does that make sense? Does anyone have any questions about that? In fact, this slide is going to explain it better because you see here, okay, this is yogurt, right? 32 ounces of low-fat yogurt. How much is it per ounce? It is 0.05 cents per ounce, whereas 6 ounces is 0.12. You know why? Because usually the larger packs are cheaper. Now you might just be cooking for one person. So it may not make sense to buy 32 ounces of yogurt, right? But if you think that's something you could use over the whole week, it doesn't make sense to buy it because if you look at 0.5 cents per ounce and 12, there's like a difference of 7 cents. It's the same yogurt, but the 32-ounce jar, you're getting double the amount, correct? For that. So think about that. When you buy it, if you buy larger quantities, it generally is cheaper. But if you can't use the larger quantity, it's not a bad idea to first of all, share it or to even freeze it or to put it away for another day. But generally you'll find, and you wouldn't have known that a 32 ounce of low-fat yogurt is cheaper than the 6 ounce if you hadn't looked at the unit price, correct? If you just look at 6 ounces of yogurt, oh my gosh, it's only 72 cents. The 32 ounce is $1.62, more expensive. But if you look at the price per ounce, which one is actually cheaper? Tell me.
Okay, Miss Doris, okay, any takers for this question? Okay, Mr. Leon, let's see, anyone else that hasn't had a chance to speak, make sure you keep your hand up, Mr. Leon. Any other takers? Okay,
Mr.
What's-
Leon.
what do you say, Mr. Leon?
I'm going to say that the unit price of 5 cents an ounce is actually cheaper.
Yes. So for the larger yogurt, although the retail price is $1.62 and the 6 ounce is 72 cents, unit price is cheaper. So the 32 ounce is much, much cheaper, right? 6, 12, 18, 24, 32. The 32 ounce is 5 times as much as the 6 ounces. And it's only $1.62. So you have to watch labels and see the comparison, make an informed comparison. It allows for accurate comparisons between different brands and package sizes. Now, normally you'll find the store-bought brands are cheaper, okay? Like the Safeway brand will be cheaper than the Dannon yogurt or the Stonyfield. The Safeway brand is generally cheaper than those, and the Giant brand is generally cheaper. But sometimes the other brands may be on sale and they may be cheaper. But looking at the unit price per ounce really helps. Okay, now let's look at this salad dressing. Okay, now in this the salad dressing, the first one is $3.89 and the second one is $4.29. So again, here I want somebody to look at the ounce and tell me whether salad dressing 1 or salad dressing 2 is the cheaper or the more economical option. And please look at the unit price per round and then answer. Okay, so does Alex, do you want to handle who's going to
Yeah.
answer?
Yes, yep. Let's see. So your question is, which one is cheaper, salad dressing 1 or 2, right?
Yes, where do you get, I won't say which is cheaper, I'll say where do you get more value for your money?
Okay, that's a great
Huh?
great way
Okay.
to think about it. Okay, Ms. Doris, where do you get greater value, salad dressing 1 or 2?
I think it's salad dressing too,
Very good. And why would you say that?
because you getting more ounces
Yes.
on two, and then the price is lower on the second part after
Yes.
the ounces. And then
Very good.
I wanted to mention this too. Today is the last day. Harris Teeter, they have a sale for Deer Park water.
Oh,
You
really?
get 2 for
Thank you.
$8. And
Thank you
then
for telling us that. See,
and
that's
if you
excellent.
buy the sodas, or you buy 2 sodas and you get 3 free.
Oh, very good. Thank you for giving us that good piece of
Yeah,
information.
today is the last day for the sale though.
Okay, so whoever likes that water, go ahead, and if you get a chance to go to Harris Teeter and pick it up. It's great for people to tell us what's on sale. You don't have to go and look at the sale paper then, correct? And you were right on target. Salad dressing 2 is cheaper because you get 48 ounce. The other one is 32, and the only way we know that is by looking at the price per ounce. One is 9 cents per ounce and the other is 12 cents per ounce. Now look at yogurt. Okay, we're looking at the left and you see that the 6 ounces of yogurt is 72 cents, whereas the 32 ounces of yogurt is $1.62. Same principle applies here. Okay, the unit price per ounce. Can someone tell me again how much value you're getting? Which yogurt is giving you better value?
Yeah, the top yogurt or the bottom yogurt? Thank you, Geraldine. What do you say?
I say the top yogurt is giving you better value because it's 5 cents per ounce and the other one is 12 cents per ounce.
Yes. So very good. Okay. So
Uh-huh.
that's how you work the ounce. Okay. Now compare post prices and sizes. Always compare prices and sizes to get the best value for your money. Sometimes buying in bulk can save you a lot in the long run. Okay. Now buying in bulk, you know how meat too, they have those big packs of meat. But again, with that, you have to take it home, open it up, portion it into Ziplocs and freeze it. Because once you open it up and you refrigerate it, you have to use it. But if you freeze it, you can keep it for another time. Okay. Buying in bulk and save freeze into smaller portion. Buying in bulk offers cost savings and reduces packaging waste, making it both economical and environmentally friendly. Okay, but that's again a personal choice. Some people prefer to buy the smaller portions because it helps them to cook better, to be easier, and all of that. Okay. Um, check expiry dates, very important. Before adding items to your cart, always check the expiry dates to ensure you're getting the freshest products. Don't be afraid to reach for the back of the shelf. Okay, the back of the shelf sometimes, uh, you know how they have the first in, first out, whatever's going to expire, you put it at the back. I mean, whatever you buy new. So the ones which are going to expire comes to the front, okay? But look at the expiry date. Like for this, if you look at this label, it says March 2019, okay? I'm not really sure what the 21 is, but at least we know it's March 2019. Okay, so March 2019, okay, this is an old product. Now, generally, most products will expire in like, although the expiry date is a certain date, they are good for a whole year after with canned goods. And even with things like dairy and meats, they are good for like a week after. That's why when they have the reduced price section, it's not a bad idea to visit that. Okay, because suppose the expiry date is on the date, you can still buy it. If it's a canned good, if you use it within the next 2 months, you're good. If it's a meat or if it's some dairy product, I wouldn't do this for milk, but for cheeses, yes. Even if the expiry date is like today, they'll probably sell it to you at like 90% off. You still have a week to use it. So as long as you don't go 2-3 weeks with that, you're good. Does that make sense?
Thank you
when
so
they
much.
have when they
Uh,
have the reduced price section, they put in the foods like for the canned foods, which is going to expire in 6 months, but you're going to use it way before 6 months, right? I often go to Safeway and I look at their meat section. They'll have like really nice things and they'll be like 75% off, 50% off. Like the last time I went there, they had these chicken lime skewers, and those are usually they go up to $20 for a pack. And I never like to buy it for $20 because I'm like, okay, I can buy boneless chicken and put my own marinade. But the marinade on these are so good. But the last time I went there, they were marked down because they were going to expire. I took it home and I cooked it for dinner like the next day. So I actually got a lot of benefit out of that because for $10 I got this huge pack. Actually, it was 5. It's usually 20, but it was 5. And my husband loves salad, especially now summer. He likes salad, and then my kids like curry. So I have to like juggle between them both. But this was easy because the marinade was there. I just air fried it, put it on a salad, and I just paid $5 for it. So if you're going to use it soon, you are going to be the one who benefits from it. Also, with canned goods, you can use them up to 6 months, use them up within a month. Any questions about this?
Again, thank you so much, Sue, for the information. It's so important. I just watched a video where
Okay.
you have to look at the product. There's a difference between sell by, use by, and like an actual expiration date.
Yes.
If it doesn't have words next to the date, it's the expiration date. And you have to use it within pretty much like that week, like you said, for meats and stuff. But if it's a best by date, then it's different as well. With using it
Yes.
to 6 months afterwards. So like you said, I watched a video earlier this week on that. So it's so interesting you talk about that today. So it's really, really important to read that label and see what
Yes.
it actually says.
Yes. Okay. That's a very good tip too. The use by, the best by, and the expiry date. So
Mhm.
make sure you make use of those benefits. Okay. I mean, benefits in the sense it's kind of like a perk when you go and find all this fresh meat there. But of course, if you are asking someone else to shop for you, you could ask them to do that too. Tell them to go check out the reduced price section, especially in the meats for Safeway and for Giant. You actually could get really good deals there. Okay. Now, choosing frozen over canned or fresh. Did you know that frozen food is often more nutritious than fresh food, fresh produce? Do you know why? Because some of the oranges and the apples that you see in the grocery store, they've traveled a couple of days to get to us. Okay, the oranges may be from California, and by the time it comes to us on those huge trucks, at least 2 weeks have passed by. Okay, so anytime that produce travels, it loses vitamin C, it loses other vitamins. The one thing that will be intact is the fiber. So I'm not saying don't eat those, but it would have diminished in value. Whereas frozen rule is that when they pluck the frozen produce, they're supposed to flash freeze it, which means as soon as it's harvested, they have to run some water over it, which will effectively clean it and immediately freeze it. So the chances of the nutrition in frozen fruit and vegetable is actually very high because they haven't had time to sit out. Okay, they've been harvested, they've been hosed over with a special hose which removes all the dirt, and immediately the next step to that is getting frozen. So when you eat frozen vegetables, you're actually getting a lot of. Now a TV dinner, on the other hand, you have to watch out for things like sodium. But if it's just peas and carrot, plain peas and carrot which have been frozen, look at the label. You shouldn't find any sodium in it. Maybe very little bit of natural sodium, but otherwise they're just freezing it plain. They expect you to season it, right? They expect you to put your chipotle or your whatever pepper or whatever seasoning you want on it. So frozen is good. Canned, not so much, but it still has its value, especially for things like beans. If you rinse, and use those beans, you're going to get good value with the canned beans. And but canned foods tend to have a little sodium in them, except the reduced sodium varieties. So frozen, on the other hand, is like really good, but not to put down canned food as long as you use it properly and you watch out for the reduced cans, or the other ones too. You take some precautions like rinsing out the beans a couple of times so all that gassy substance and the sodium goes out with it, you're good. But if you had to choose frozen, if you had frozen food, just remember it's good for you. A lot of people have this idea that, hey, frozen food, it's not fresh, it's not nutritious. Hey, no, frozen food is sometimes more nutritious than the fresh food, and you can tell them why. Does what I'm saying make sense?
Thank you so much, Sue, for pointing this out. So in because of this slide, or because of the information on the slide, would you say if you wanted fresh vegetables, maybe go to a farmer's market
Yes,
or
those are
a garden or a
often
farm?
fresher.
Mhm.
Local farms, farmers market, or if you're picking them from your own garden or from a community garden, those will be very fresh because they haven't traveled, right? You're harvesting them and hopefully you're cooking it within 1 or 2 days, or even if you refrigerate, you're using it soon because otherwise it'll go bad, right? So
Mm.
farmers market, local markets, even in your own grocery store, they sometimes have a section which says local produce. Now that produce is sometimes a little more expensive, but you are getting more value there. Okay.
Right.
Now there are things like Produce Plus where you can go to farmers markets and shop, right? I hope all of you are taking advantage of that. Produce Plus is great. Then Senior FMNP is great. They give you vouchers to go and buy fresh produce. And the fresh produce is generally at farmers market. So if you're buying from those, you're probably getting like really nutritious, high quality, good produce. Okay. But remember, if you can't have access to like a farmers market kind of fresh produce or local produce, frozen is another great way to go to make sure that you are getting nutritious foods where the nutrients are intact.
Mm.
Okay. Any questions about this point before I go to the next one?
Oh, yes, we do have
Doris has a question.
yeah, we do have a hand, and also frozen is a little more affordable as well. You can get more bang for
Very
your
much so.
frozen,
And
so.
sometimes those come on sale. You'll
Mhm.
find them slashed to like 99 cents.
50
Good
cents,
time.
75 cents. Yeah, I've seen, yeah, you just got to check your frozen section.
Yeah. Pick it up and freeze it. Someone else had a question?
Yep, thank you. Okay, we have two hands. Miss Doris, you had a question or a comment for Sue?
My question is, you say when you get the canned food, you supposed to rinse it off.
Yes,
like you
beans,
can.
for beans. Like, you know how you get the beans and the beans are sitting in some liquid? You have to rinse it, rinse at least 3 times. And when you rinse it, most of the sodium is going to go out. Also, that stuff which is around the beans, it actually causes a lot of gas. So by washing and rinsing beans especially, you're getting rid of the sodium and the gassy substance.
Okay,
I mean,
thank you.
I mean, I shouldn't say gassy substance. It's more like the stuff which causes gas. Because see, what happens is when the beans are sitting in that liquid, it ferments. And any fermentation kind of plays a little havoc with your digestive system. Not to say fermented foods are bad. Fermented foods are actually very good, like kimchi, yogurt, all of those are from a process of fermentation because they actually have healthy probiotics, but they also could make you a little gassy. So I'm saying if you want to avoid the gas, and the stuff around the beans is definitely not the healthy kind of probiotic. Okay, it's just water, and because the bean has been sitting in it, some sodium, it becomes like a gooey liquid, and you must take that off. If you take it off, your beans are going to taste a lot better too. Doris
Okay,
had a question.
Thank you,
thank you.
Thomas. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Sue.
Mhm. Any other questions for Sue before we move on to our next section? Again, thank you all so much. Don't forget to lower your hand and mute yourself afterwards. Thank you so much.
Okay, buying in season. Okay, that's a smart way to get your best bang for your buck. Like strawberries, what is the season? May, June, July. So that's when you should buy a lot of strawberries because they're cheap. You try buying strawberries in December, they are a little more expensive, right? And the strawberries which come in December are probably ones that have traveled from Mexico or California. So you can kind of gauge how the nutrition value will be. Okay. So buying in season is important. Some fruits and vegetables you get year round, but the ones which are summer specific, like berries, okay. Um, what else do we get? Peaches. Peaches is around this time. Make use of those. Not only are you getting good nutrition, but you'll probably score good sales as well. Okay. And typically it's fresher, tastier, more nutritious, costs less due to the low supply chain and production expenses during peak harvest time. So make sure you try to buy in season. Okay. Buy the fruit like cherries. They kind of come around, I think around the springtime you get cherries. I'm not really sure. I seem to think that it's one of the first crops that are harvested or the last. They require a little cool weather. So it's spring and fall going into winter, but I think you get the tart cherries. So
May to July for cherries, May to July.
May to July. Okay, that's peak summer. I was wrong. But cherries, all those fruits which you get a lot of in the summer, make use of that and buy it because usually you'll get it cheaper. Buying local, like we talked about, produces goods. Buying locally produced goods can lead to budget savings due to lower transportation costs and reduced markups, often resulting in fresher, more affordable produce. And many of these farmers markets are affiliated to SNAP, EBT, WIC, and Produce Plus. So if you go in there, you can actually use those benefits. There's one chain called the Arcadia Markets where they double the bang for your buck. They're all over the city. Okay, so what Arcadia does is suppose you have SNAP or EBT or WIC or senior FMNP, you just show them proof that you do, and you buy $10 of vegetable and they'll give it to you for 5. So you buy $20 of vegetable and they'll give it to you for 10. So there are some markets which do that. So be aware of that and try to buy local. Okay. Now bagging like a pro, efficiently bagging your groceries to avoid squished bread and damaged goods. If you bag properly, you'll give your fruits and vegetables a longer shelf life. Use sturdy bags and separate the fragile items to ensure everything arrives home safely. Ideally, you should be putting like harder fruit in the bottom or harder produce like potatoes, oranges. These won't go out of shape. Those should be at the bottom of the bag. Celery can also go in there. Cucumbers too. And things like tomatoes, berries, or peaches, plums, especially if they're ripe, should stay on top. And again, with bread can get squished unless it's that long artisan bread, but otherwise in general bread can get squished, so bread should stay on top. Egg should stay on top, so make sure you kind of watch how you bag it. If you have separate bags for everything, it's better, but make sure the lighter items are on the top, and the denser items are the ones with boxes, like eggs come in a box, so you should be careful with the eggs to make sure they don't break. But at the bottom of the pile, if it has a nice hard case, is not a bad idea. You can layer it up with lighter vegetable, okay? Because if you don't take that trouble to bag it properly, you could go home and find that, oh my gosh, my eggs are all broken. That's such a waste. Or you'll find that your bread was squished, or that your tomatoes, which are already ripe, have now become so ripe. I mean, they is so squishy. So make sure you bag properly or get them bagged properly when they come to you. Cook more, eat out less. Now, this is a no-brainer, right? Because we know that when you cook at home, it's so much cheaper. You can make mac and cheese at home for like cents. You go out and order a box of mac and cheese, and you're going to pay at least $10, depending on the store. So cooking at home is budget friendly because it reduces the cost per meal compared to dining out, allows for greater control over ingredients and portion sizes. Now, there are some of you who belong to dining sites where you live there and you only have to go down for lunch. Do that because that's a free meal. And sometimes if they have extra meals, they'll let you take it up because everyone may not have shown up. And if you have to cook just one meal like dinner, make it simple. One pot meals are easy. If you're used to using something like the Instant Pot, you can just put in some vegetables, some meat, make a little soupy kind of a casserole, like a meat stew or something. Keep it simple, but the more you cook, the more you save. Okay. If you feel like you're the only person and you don't want to cook too much, you could always cook a whole batch of like maybe fish, 6 pieces of fish, and you could freeze it, put it into a Ziploc. And you know, this way of packaging where they remove all the air out. Some people have that, it's called a food saver, but you can create your own food saver with a Ziploc. You put the food into the Ziploc and you put a straw inside and you close the entire bag. Okay. And then using the straw, you suck all the air out. And you'll see how, just like those food savers come, the plastic in the Ziploc will get stuck to the piece of fish that you're freezing. And then you quickly close it. That usually keeps it longer because there's no air. If you don't like that and you like to only save in like silicone or in glass, do it. However, whatever you feel about how it should be stored. But you can always cook in batch and you can freeze for another rainy day. Okay. Anyone has any questions about cook more and eat out less?
Thank you again so much for the information, Sue. It's so important to learn these little things because those what makes the most difference. I shared 2 of our sessions. I've talked about food waste and the
Okay.
cost of food. So if you could all look at those videos, that kind of expands as well at what Sue was talking about today. And could you go back to the previous slide, Sue? So it's so important that if you can, try to find those produce bags with the holes because
Produce bags.
yeah, and it's so important. I know a lot of people that, they use the plastic bags with the fruits and veggies and they just put the plastic bag in the fridge and it's really not good because the plastic bag doesn't allow the moisture to go through, the food. So it tends
Yes.
to rot faster. So if you can, I
Yes.
recommend you get those produce bags. There are Aldi's or, a lot of grocery stores as well. So I
Yes.
just wanted to highlight that when I saw that picture. That's it.
Yeah,
I love
the netted ones are very good.
it.
And places like Amazon, they sell them. I use these also for hanging things like onions and potatoes. I'm like very practical in my kitchen. So I have like these, those, there's something called the Hercules hook.
Uh-huh.
Is anyone familiar with it? Where you stick it into drywall and you twist it around a bit and it just goes and stays there. And they say it holds up to 100 pounds. So I have a couple of hooks like that in one side in my kitchen. Not at all very pretty, but hey, when I put the bag up, it's good. And on each of those, I have one for onions I have one for potatoes. I have one for sweet potatoes. I have one for like oranges, avocados. So I just have these kind of bags. You buy them on Amazon, they're quite cheap. You can get like 6 bags for like $4 or something. And I
Mhm.
have them color coded and I just stick it up there. The onions are up there, the potatoes are up there. I can see them. They actually look quite decorative when they're hung up like that. And they also stay fresh. So those getting these reusable netting bags is not a bad idea. You keep your fruit out of, it's not on the table, it's not on the floor, it's not on the counter, it's hanging on the wall. And it's because of these bags, it kind of like stays longer. Plus, when you hang it up, the air is circulating too. So I find that especially with onions and potatoes, man, when I hang it up there, it just lasts for such a long time. So if you can get these bags, they call them hanging produce bags. They have handles. Or even if you just get like um, produce bags which stay longer, all that is a good investment in making sure that what you pick or what you get or what you buy does not go bad, because a lot of times we waste a lot of money by throwing it out because we didn't use it on time, correct?
Mm. Oh,
So
and
that's something to watch out for. Okay,
one last thing, Sue.
sure.
Put an apple in your potato bag. The apple will cause the potatoes to last even longer and not sprout. So put one apple in your potato bag.
Wow, that's a tip. I didn't know that. I'm going to try that. That's good because then your potatoes will last longer, right? Now, it is true that you can add a apple, especially one that you cut into like unripe fruit in a brown bag. Like say you have pineapples and you really want to eat that pineapple, but when you bought it, it's so raw. Put it into a brown bag like the Trader's Joe or a regular brown bag and cut an apple into half and throw it in. The apple will release a gas called ethylene, and that makes the fruit to ripen very fast. So within that small area of the bag, the pineapple will get that ethylene gas, and you'll see that it ripens in half the time. You can do that for bananas too. Like I sometimes make smoothies at places, and I'll go the previous day to Costco, and their bananas are so green, and I'm like, oh my gosh, how do I make these ripen quickly? So I do that. I take them home, put them in a brown bag, cut an apple up and throw it in there. And in the morning, the bananas are ripe and I can actually use them in the smoothies. So the apple would work both ways then. It works to make the potatoes, it stops them from growing sprouts, and it also helps to ripen unripe fruit. So how about that? The mighty apple. We got to make sure we have a stash of these at home, correct?
Yvonne said, my friend harvested her okra, tomatoes, and cucumber. I made a delicious stew from the tomatoes and okra.
Wow. Wow. That sounds like such a great recipe. Did you put anything else in it? I'm always interested in recipes, so I have to ask you. Did you put onion or anything to give it gravy, or what was the base of your soup?
Yep. Please share in the chat, Yvonne. We'll love to
Yeah, you
share.
can share in the chat. That's a good thing too,
Yes.
right?
Yep. Wow. But thank you so much so far, Sue. We're almost there actually. So we're going with great
Oh,
time.
wow, it's 2:22.
I
Okay.
know
Smart
it. We
shopping,
learned
smart
so much.
shopping. Make your own healthy snacks. When you make your own snacks, it's healthier, it's also cheaper. Things like hummus with sliced vegetable, Greek yogurt with honey and berries, apple slices with almond butter, homemade granola bars, roasted chickpeas, smoothies with spinach, banana, almond milk, cottage cheese with pineapple, whole grain crackers with avocado spread, hard-boiled eggs, trail mixes. Don't these actually sound so healthy? All these things listed here, and I'm sure you have others. And not only are these cheaper, you're also not getting all that the preservative stuff and the artificial stuff that you get when you buy snacks. So as far as possible, try to make your own healthy snacks. Even if it's a little effort, it's cheaper. Plus, you're giving your body such good stuff. Okay, there are some ideas of some healthy snacks. Now, I didn't make most of these. I just like to put pretty pictures together, especially the avocado and the egg. I think looks so delicious, but something for us to feast on. Look at those fruit kebabs. They don't look very complicated, right? So some ideas of healthy snacks, like some more healthy
What did you
snacks.
say, Sue? You got to eat the rainbow, right?
Yeah,
Look how
eat the rainbow.
colorful
You can
everything
see
is.
plenty of the rainbow here, right? Now, so smart shopping, focus on nutritious, low-cost foods. What are some of the nutritious, low-cost foods? Yogurt, eggs, produce and season, Beans and lentils, the dry ones, okay? The canned ones, okay, you can use them to rinse and use, but dried beans are so cheap. You get a whole little bag for 99 cents, and that'll probably give you 6 times what is in a can. All you have to do is soak it overnight, cook it over the stove, or cook it in an instant pot or pressure cooker, and the beans will become soft, but they won't have all that sodium. Oats, peanut butter, tuna in water, string cheese, sunflower seeds. So these are some nutritious, low cost foods. Okay, especially beans. I love beans. When I do food demonstrations, I always use beans because beans are like magic. They're like, Jack and the beanstalk grew so big. But anyway, but beans really have like high nutritional value. They're high in protein, fiber, vitamins, minerals, making them a healthy, highly nutritious food that supports overall health. They're also very cost effective. Dry beans are inexpensive and have a long shelf life, providing a budget friendly and sustainable source of protein. They're lower in sodium, as in they have no sodium. Isn't that great? The canned beans have sodium, but regular beans, dried beans have no sodium. Choose water to quench your thirst, okay? Instead of those sugary sodas or even the diet sodas, flavor water with lemon, herbs, fruit, add fruit, pureed fruit, use seltzer water to make your own healthy version of a soda. So much cheaper and so much healthier for you. Okay, say yes to loyalty programs. We talked about this, right? Go into Safeway, Giant, get their cards, because then the things which are on sale, all you have to do is put your phone number in, and at the end, your $90 bill will suddenly drop to like 65, and you'll be like, what? And it's because you were a Safeway member and you used when you gave them your phone number, all those things dropped because a lot of the things you bought were on sale. Okay, here are some stores that are supposed to have been listed as thrifty grocery stores. Aldi is number one. I'm not sure if the order is correct, but these are good stores. Aldi is one. That's very good. Lidl is good. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. It might be Lidl or Little Lidl. Okay, that's another good store. Trader Joe's, especially for organic foods. You can't beat the prices in Trader Joe's. They even have non-organic but healthy foods, but their prices are good. Save a Lot, H Mart, Grand Mart, Shoppers, Food Lion, Giant, especially with the sales, Safeway with the sales, Harris Teeter with the sales, Wegmans, known for competitive prices on bulk. So remember these stores, and remember these are places you could shop. Now celebrate your savings. This is actually my last slide, because when you save money on your groceries by doing these things, like maybe you use the loyalty program or you use coupons, or you've been cooking so much food at home that you didn't spend as much, celebrate it. Maybe you want to have a facial, you want to go to the spa. Hey, you deserve it because you saved your food, right? Or maybe you could take a massage or go thrifting. For me, I love to go thrifting. I'm a huge thrifter. So if I have some extra money to spend, I'll go to the thrift store and look for stuff. My husband always tells me you need to take as much out as you bring in. But now that I started a job at the Seabury Aging People Services, and I have like to cook for them, now I have an excuse to shop at the thrift store, because I'm like, hey, I'm buying this for work. I need these utensils for work. So whatever it is, when you save your food, maybe you don't want to, maybe you just want to save that money. But if you do save and you're eating healthier and you're saving because you're cooking more, celebrate your savings because you deserve it. Okay. Happy shopping. So I hope this has been informative, and I hope that you will go out and use these tips to make your shopping a little more interesting and healthier, and use, less money. I'm going to do a stop share. Okay. Okay. I think it's like 2:28, right? Yeah. But I always go close to the time. I don't know how that happens, but I'm happy to take questions. So, anyone?
Again, thank you so much, Sue. I certainly reinforce a lot of the things that you do on a daily basis. And if it's like if you learn one new thing a day, but if you even just save, even $1, hey, that's one more dollar that you have, right? So
Yes, yes.
I like celebrating your savings. You have to celebrate when you are smart with your time and money, right?
Yes,
So
yes.
I love that. And thank you so much for sharing. Yep, so we have some hands. Again, make sure you all stay on to hold to let us know how you felt about today's questions, but or in session. But any questions or comments for Sue, please raise your hand in Zoom. We'd love to hear from you. But again, if they don't come on, Sue, if you could wish Donna, Miss Lawanda, and Kenneth a happy Labor Day weekend. Hope they enjoyed. We love that as well.
Sure. I don't know if they're here, but I will
No,
wish
no, no,
them.
no.
Okay.
It's just you today.
Okay, I will wish them. And as always, it's such a pleasure to be here. So any questions or are we closing? I mean,
Yep. Again, we have 3 hands. So
okay,
first
sure.
up is
I can
Anne.
take
You
this.
have a
Yep.
question or a comment for Sue?
Well, I have one comment, Sue. And then I have, well, 2 comments. I have a open like plastic stand, and I put my potatoes and onions on that.
Okay.
And I also use the cloth bags with the holes.
Cloth bags are also good, they say, because
Mhm.
they are very like, do I have any here? They allow the air to go into. Those
Yeah,
are not a bad place to store, especially those thin cloth bags. You know, they're very thin and they
yeah.
allow for air to flow through, and they're supposed to be good too to store fruits and vegetables.
And then also Timu is good for shopping for kitchen utensils and
Okay.
dish rags and other little things. I bought quite a few little containers and stuff, and they're
My
very good.
mom is addicted to Temu. I have to like watch what she
Yeah, yeah,
buys there.
yeah. You need to. I am too.
Do you get
Unfortunately,
like food saver bags there? I'm
yeah,
definitely going to
yeah.
check
You
that out.
can,
They have a
and they
lot
have
of
the
different
grow
things on
bags
there,
too.
Sue.
Okay, that's very good. That's very good.
Yeah, you can get a lot of stuff. But
Okay,
again, thank you so much. This has been so informative.
you're very
You
welcome.
know, a lot of the stuff you remember from when I was in cooking school
Uh-huh.
and in nutritional value. So I just thank you so much. It's a
You're very
refresher.
welcome. Very
Hmm.
welcome.
Have a good day, honey. Be
Thank you.
safe
Thank
out
you.
there.
Yes, I
Yeah,
will.
and appreciate it. Love that. And we have Mr. Leon. Thanks so much for joining. You have a question or a comment for Sue today?
Yeah, my question was, I wanted to check out a little bit more about this program plus, or Produce Plus program. Is there?
Produce Plus. Okay. Now, are you part of the Produce Plus?
No, I wanted to
I
find
mean,
out some
have you
more.
got? Okay. Now, Produce Plus enrollment starts in the April of every year, and by end of May it closes. So next year, if you remind me, I will get you enrolled in myself. I'll get a code from them. There are certain agencies like Fresh Farms, Arcadia Market who enroll people, or you can go online. And I also I myself, because I work with seniors, I go and ask them for a code. So I enroll a lot of people too. I think last year I enrolled at least about 18 new persons. So what we should do is you have to, right now it'll be like closed. I think Alex put the link in the chat. So
Yeah,
now it'll be closed. They won't take up any more registrations.
yeah.
But
It says it's
next
closed.
year, in the month of April, that's when they start. So that's when you need to register. And once you do, you get $40 worth of free produce bucks that you can use at participating farmers markets. And some farmers market, like at Arcadia, they give you double the bang for your buck. And if you get Produce Plus and you're a senior, you automatically qualify for senior FMNP. At least most seniors qualify, where you get an additional 50. So if you're not in the program, I would highly recommend that you get in for the next. For those who are already in the program, what happens is they get an email. So they are the first ones who get like a chance to re-register, and then they open it out to others. But every year they want new people too, so they have more and more slots. So in April, May, I want you to keep this in mind and register for Produce Plus. Is that good?
Yep. Thank you, Mr. Leon. I put in the chat myself. I've taken advantage of many different produce options because of Produce Plus. So it's a very,
It's a
very
good
great
one.
program.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Leon. And then we have Yvonne. You have a question or comment for Sue?
Yes, thank you so much, Sue, and thank you, Alex, for this presentation.
You're
Sue, I
welcome.
wanted to say that also my mother
Mhm.
would add an apple to her cake container to help the
Okay.
cake retain its moisture.
Mhm.
So that's another tip regarding the apple. Of course, she
Okay.
would, I think, slice the apple first.
Okay.
And then regarding the my shopping, I wouldn't go to Safeway or Giant without my cards.
Yes.
And at Giant, I even get 10 cents for every $100 spent, 10 cents off of every gallon of gas.
Yeah,
So,
it
and
makes a
that's
difference.
a big savings for
Yes,
me.
makes a difference, right?
It makes a difference.
Yep.
And I was wondering, do you find all these prices to be less than either Giant or Safeway?
I find them to be less, but
Yeah.
with Aldi's, they don't offer loyalty rewards, but they do offer Lidl's offers loyalty in the sense when you have the Lidl's app, a lot of things are also reduced. But with Aldi's, generally their prices are like so good, but they do
Yeah.
have items on sale.
Yeah, they
Like
have a
they'll have a
weekly
reduced.
sale.
They have weekly sales, but they don't have a loyalty program.
Yes, but
Safeway
I
has.
wanted to remind
I
everybody.
find it's cheaper. Has
Yes, I
anybody
do
else
too.
shopped at Aldi's? Isn't
It,
Aldi's like
it is.
really
You can get a lot
nicely
for
priced?
$50. You can get a lot
Right.
for $50. You can
Yeah.
even get a lot for $30 if you really
Yep.
want.
And the
Yep.
ice cream is so much cheaper for those of us who still eat ice cream.
Who doesn't like ice cream? Tell
I
me.
know, but anyway, those gas points make a big difference when I
Yes.
go
Yes.
to fill up. Sometimes I
Yes.
get as much as 30 cents off of every gallon, which is a big savings. So thank you
Yes.
so much, Sue, for this
You're very welcome. Very
presentation.
welcome.
Bye-bye. Thank you, Alex.
Okay.
Thank you, Yvonne. Appreciate it. And thank you, everyone. I don't see any other hands, but I appreciate all of the comments and questions for today. Sue, let's see. Well, Anne, did you have one quick comment? We still have to do our poll for today. So do you have
I just wanted to tell you, you can freeze your berries too. Like if you want to make a topping for something or for the, and I use the blueberries in my muffins, frozen, and the strawberries in the cake. So you can do that too.
Oh,
And
yes.
again,
You
keep your
can
berries.
freeze most anything, and berries freeze beautifully.
Yeah.
Mm.
Your peaches, your apples.
Yep. Very good.
Yeah.
All of those are good ways to save money. And I'm
Mhm.
glad that all of you are already doing them. Very good. Very good.
Thank you so much, Anne. We really appreciate that. And thank you all so much for joining us today, you all. Sue, maybe what is your like most what your biggest tip for everyone? What do you think has helped you out the most in your
I think for me it's the meats because I love going to I usually stop at the Safeway on the way home, and I don't know why, but maybe evenings is when they put out the stuff because I don't know why. So usually when I go, they have a lot of reduced meats on sale, and I take it home, and sometimes I cook it on that night, which is why my menu really changes. I may plan something for the week, but I'll change it around based on what I get on sale because sometimes shrimp will be on sale, fish will be on sale. And I'm like, okay, I'm changing. I'm not cooking pork chops tonight. I'm cooking the fish. So I think for me, one of the biggest savings I have is visiting the reduced meat section at Safeway. I really find good deals there, and some of it I take home and freeze too. So for me, I guess that.
Yeah, I think kind of what you were saying, buy what you need and just think about what you want, but buy what
Yes.
you need, right?
Yes.
But thank you so much, Sue. Again, we hope to see you once again
Sure.
for our sessions. Let's all give Sue a big thank you for this wonderful information and to stay on to complete a poll to let us know how you felt about today's session. Have a wonderful rest of your day, Sue. Thank you so much.
Very
And I
welcome.
hope you have a great
I
rest of
always love coming here. So
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Thank
Thank you.
Thank you, Sue.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sue.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you,
Information.
Sue.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Sue.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Good
Okay. I'll be
information.
off now. I was actually, if you noticed, I was